Do you guys hear that?
Is that boss music?
Go naked and just go with the sword, and that's it.
What do I do with all this?
It says it in the title.
I'm a slut for roguelites. Hello, welcome to the Unearthing Games Podcast. My name is Jacob, and I will be your lead excavator today. I am joined by Nick.
Howdy.
And Erica.
Hi.
And we dig games. So how y'all doing today?
Doing all right. Oh, goodness.
So what have y'all been up to?
I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. Still.
Nice.
Same.
Very nice.
I mean, that's not the only thing I've been doing, but we have stayed up probably past midnight a couple of nights this week, right?
Just playing Minecraft?
Well, it's one of those, like, when you play with the mod packs, like, I love having a quest book. I know we've talked about this a bunch, but having a quest book in Minecraft makes it gives you glorious purpose.
It does.
Yeah, I think that's what really halted me on Minecraft, was that everybody knows what the end game is, but you don't really have a lot to do in the in-between. Like, we all know that you're trying to get to the Ender Dragon. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, actually, now there's a whole thing after the Ender Dragon.
Oh, is there?
You want to get the, what is it called? The Elytra, right? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
if you're playing vanilla, you want to get, after
blind.
you beat the Ender Dragon, right? You go back to the end, and there's like a portal floating off of his island, right?
Of course there is.
And you go through it, and it takes you to the end. Like the actual end.
The end.
And it's a world.
Okay.
And it's a world full of Endermen and stuff, and there's like floating cities and stuff. And you can find like little floating sky ships, like something out of Studio Ghibli. Mm-hmm. And in these boats, you'll find like bug wings, for lack of a better way to put it. And they're called Elytra, and they let you fly.
Oh, that's cool.
Like actual flight. That's the vanilla end game. You need to go and download this mod pack. I remember I tried to get you to connect to our game, but then we had this issue we always have with servers where...
With servers, because servers are the bane of our existence.
We need to get Chase
family.
to come and like teach a idiot's guide to server creation.
Give a crash course on servers.
Yeah, I need him to make us an idiot's guide to it so we can figure out how to do it for layman's people. But you need to go and download this mod pack. Project Ozone 3. Mm-hmm. You start out with a cool little iPad that has all the quests in it. And they ramp up. It starts off with really easy quests, you know, like make a furnace and stuff. And then you get later on in the game where like we're making like automated mob farmers, and Erica is finding a way to make a plant that grows literally anything you could need in the game. And so it's like, oh man, we're having a hard time finding something called black quartz in the game. So she's like, I just need 4 of them. Get me 4 black quartz and I can make a black quartz plant. And then, bam, no more black quartz problems.
Right. Nice.
And then it comes with cows that produce different liquids. So like we have one that he makes a liquid called resonant ender. And so you can dump it into a mold and it makes ender eyes, or ender pearls.
Oh, nice.
I was like, what? And then I have one that he makes liquid XP. So I fill a tank with liquid XP, and I can shower myself in XP to raise my level. And I'm trying to get to like level 85 so I can fly. So
y'all are ridiculous.
Lots of great stuff.
It's fun.
It adds so much to the game. Someday, whenever Chase teaches me how to make a server and I make a new PC, I'll probably turn this PC into a server. After Chase comes to visit and I buy him food and beverage and stuff.
You beer him up.
I don't think Chase ever came to visit us.
He hasn't.
He lives very far away and he works an important job.
I'm just saying. Yeah. But like when we did used to see him around this area, he was staying with his mom.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was different, yeah.
Yeah, he had an excuse to come to our neck of the woods. Now we'd have to be like, please come help us.
Right. It's a begging thing now.
All right, but that was a rabbit hole. So, Erica, what else you been up to?
Yeah.
Just that. I've been crocheting. I have it here.
Oh, I see. Multitasking.
Working on the sweater. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We bought a whole bunch of wood today to build some workbenches for the garage, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Oh, very fun.
Oh, and the shelves I talked about last time, those turned out really well. There are pictures on the Instagram, and I'll probably have a picture fly across the screen on the video, so you can see them.
I did see them. They looked very professional, I would say.
Oh, thanks. Erica helped me.
I marked where all the brackets went. That way it was level.
Hey,
yep.
the last thing you want is to have an unlevel bookshelf.
Yeah, and they were all very level. So.
But yeah, so that turned out great. Wonderful. All of our board games and our chesters and all of that are up there.
Our chesters.
Awesome.
That sounds so weird.
We have a collection of Otto von Chester Esquire.
Otto von Chesterfield.
Chesterfield Esquire.
Oh.
Yes, we have him and all of his cousins on the shelf.
Right.
Along with a beefalo and a mandrake and Glomer.
Very nice.
But I think I've also been playing RimWorld for the first time in forever.
I've been seeing you on it. Yeah, I think I asked you today if you had died yet.
Not yet. I've got a Randy random game going, and by golly, Randy wants me to die.
Well, of course he does.
It's like we'll have like long spells of nothing, right? The occasional mad animal, no big deal. But then it'll be like raid. Like all
raid
within
Shadow Legends.
all within like 24 hours. We'll have 3 different raids. I've just been lucky that it's been tribal raids because we are tribals.
Right.
But we have great bows, and they just have little rinky-dink short bows. So
right, but y'all couldn't handle people with guns.
Not yet. Nope. And I'm out in like an arid shrubland where there's like nothing really out there, so I need to make a wall. I gotta keep them out.
Very nice.
But other than that, what have you been up to, Jake?
I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley lately. Like an unhealthy amount of Stardew Valley.
I mean, can you really play an unhealthy amount of Stardew Valley?
You can.
Yes, you can. Case in point. But I think I'm coming to the close of my first year.
How's that community center coming?
How's the community center? I have 3 of the sections done.
Like 3 bundles?
No,
like
3 sections.
3 rooms.
3 rooms. Okay, that's what I meant. Like full rooms. Okay, out of
3,
5, right?
I think so. I am this close to having the foraging one done, so the craft room is almost done. I just have to wait for winter.
Oh yeah. Well.
And I have the quality farming one done, which was probably the one that was giving me the most grief.
Okay.
But that's done now, and now I'm just waiting on animal products.
Got to get that dinosaur mayonnaise.
I know. I have a dinosaur egg just sitting, just waiting. I have one.
Put
it
in
an
incubator.
Yeah.
I don't have an incubator yet.
Oh, you need a level 2 coop.
I'm working on it. Okay. I have other things that I'm working towards. The dinosaur egg is on that list, but it's not here yet.
To say, dino mayonnaise is like one of the most lucrative items in the whole game. So.
Mm-hmm. There's that. You know, to be honest, it's been Stardew and Valheim. Like, that's it.
Yeah. I was talking to Phil today about Valheim, and he's all like, I feel like everyone's moved on and they left the game. And I was like, no one's left the game. We're all just busy people.
It's like, Phil, we don't have parental leave.
we didn't just have a baby.
I don't have nothing to do until May. I've got things. I'm doing stuff, man.
All right, calm down, Rick. He was very happy because Philip helped us get the wood today. So that's why I got to have a long conversation with Phil as we loaded up like a couple $100 worth of lumber. But he said he was super happy that like you and him and Chase all went on a quest together and like started digging up a swamp. I don't know.
Oh yeah. But he and I think it was last weekend. Whenever me and Chase can consistently be on.
Shrek would be so mad at y'all.
We did. We dug up a swamp. I died a couple of times. It was okay. It was good. We got our iron. I got some black metal fragments from.
Ooh, the little furlings or whatever they're called.
From the furlings. So I'll have to go and abscond with your blast furnace.
You can come use it. You cannot abscond with it.
No, I'm going to abscond with it. Anyway.
Look, the sea fort's for everybody. That's why I built it so big, so that you could all have a house there.
Nice. Well, but honestly, that's school, Valheim, Stardew, and work. That's what I do.
Hey,
that's my life.
I think it's a solid life. I mean, and you occasionally see the lady friend and all that.
I occasionally see the lady friend. She was down this past weekend. It was fun.
Yeah.
So I guess with that we can go into our games for what we played this week. So let's start with Erica. Erica, what did you play this time?
Sure. So this week, so last week I said that I just kind of went through our list of games from top to bottom and stopped when I saw one that was cute. So this time I started at the bottom and I worked my way up. So this is A Virus Named Tom. So this is the virus. This is by Misfits Attic, and that's the developer and publisher. And this game is super cute. I clicked on it because it reminded me a lot of Invader Zim. Like,
yes,
you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yes, it reminds me of like Grr.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh, that's cute. Okay, so I clicked on it, and it's actually a really fun game. So its tags are indie, puzzle, action, strategy, and local co-op. But if you've played any type of puzzle game, or I mean, I guess a lot of games have this mechanic, but the whole game is based on the mechanic of the whole like water flowing through pipes type of puzzles, where you have to line up the pipes so that the water can get all the way through.
Oh, like all of the hacking done in BioShock. You know, every time you hack something, you're just putting little valves on there to make the water flow through.
I never played BioShock. I can't say.
You've never even seen BioShock?
Yes. I've never seen it, no.
Never mind. All right, I'll have to play that. I'll have to play that for you one day. I cannot believe you've not seen that classic.
No, I haven't. Yeah. But yeah, so it's that kind of puzzle where you're trying to line up all the little corners and straight pieces and stuff like that. Well, the whole premise is that the whole intro bit is really cute. So there's like this scientist, and he's creating all these like future things, like moving sidewalks and robot dogs that don't poop and stuff like that. And so he makes all of these machines and robots and everything for this company, and then they're finally like, yeah, we don't need you anymore, you're fired, like, get out of here. And so obviously he's really upset about that, and so he's like, oh, the last great thing that I made was, you know, a virus named Tom, and so this virus is in all of their systems. And so you're playing as the little virus, trying to take down all these things. So the first one you start with was, mine at least, was the little robot dog. And so you have to go through the different sections of the dog, and plant your virus inside it so that the dog will malfunction and the company will lose their money. But the puzzles start out pretty simple. It's just like, okay, you know, make them line up, and you do, and it's easy, whatever. And then it starts, the company starts catching on that the virus is there, and so they're like, oh, okay, well, now we've got this antivirus software. And so there's little, like, they look like spiders, and all of this is done on a grid. If you pull it up in Steam, you can see a lot of the screenshots. It's all done on a grid. And so the little spider virus antivirus will just go up and down and across on these lines, on specific lines, and you can stun the antivirus, so that you can go and do your things. Because if they hit you, they'll take your power away, and you need power. You know, you need your power to complete the puzzle, and you drain power over time. And then also, if they hit you, it's like your little health bar type of thing. And then once, you know, I finished the dog, and then it was like, oh, the company's getting smarter. They're gonna have like encryption. And so then you get to puzzles where you can see only certain pieces of it, and the other parts are encrypted, and you don't know what shapes they are until they connect to one piece that's already lit up, that already has the virus. And so you have to like go through and kind of guesstimate, like, what are these pieces? How would they connect? Because you can't see it until it actually does connect. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it does have local co-op, so I don't know how that would look, but I think this is a really fun game to play.
It looks really cute.
It does look really cute. Even like I'm actually kind of interested in this, and I'm not even one for puzzle games.
So I feel like really this one has been in my Steam library for a long time, and it's always just fallen to the wayside for something else, because, you know, there's always another game to play.
Yeah.
But now that, like, I've seen it, it's like, see what it is. Like, this is totally a game for you, because you love puzzles.
Yeah.
So it's really funny that you would stumble upon this, you know? You're like, I just pointed at a name in the phone book, and oh my gosh, it's a puzzle.
And now we're married.
Whoa.
right.
But yeah, I really like this game. It's really cute. I didn't get too far in. I think I took down the dog, and then so once you actually infect whatever product it is, it shows another little cutscene of it like failing in front of a customer. And so this one was like a little girl, and she was like, sit, and the dog would sit, and she'd be like, stand, and it would stand, and she'd be like, sit, and it would sit again, and then she's like, okay, now she wanted it to do something else, and he was just like the virus took over, and he like freaked out, and his head popped off, and the little girl just screams. It was hilarious.
Oh no!
That's what you get for. Okay, it's not really a dog.
No,
it's a robot dog.
It's a robot.
But yeah, so
that's what you get for firing.
I love the little stories and stuff, and then like I said, the company starts reaching out to you, like, we know that you're doing this, we know it's your virus, we're gonna stop you, and it just keeps making it harder to get through the levels, which I think is really cool.
Right. Oh yeah, it looks like 4-player co-op is what it has.
Looks like it, like even like competitive mode, maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting. Who was that by?
Yeah, so that's The Virus Named Tom by Misfits Attic.
Very nice. It has a really cute art style, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really interesting. Well, all right. Nick, what did you have up for this time?
Yeah, so this week I played a game called Ashen. It was developed by A44 and published by Annapurna Interactive. So the tags on Steam for this guy are Souls-like, Adventure, RPG, Action, Multiplayer. And honestly, that kind of sums it up. I mean, I don't know if I've ever stressed before on the podcast how much I enjoy Souls games.
Wasn't that the top one on your list?
I don't know if it was number one, but it was up there.
It was up there. Yeah.
But I love Souls style, Soulsian, Souls-like games. I think they're fantastic. And this one, it popped up on I was on Steam one day and it was like, hey, this game, it's on sale. And I was like,
cool.
I think I've heard of this, but sure, take my money. It has this really fantastic, kind of like a minimalist art style, where all of the characters are kind of like those. It's almost like body templates for games, where like you get like a blank slate, and then you go and like put all the clothes and features and stuff on them. Mm-hmm. Like if you're like doing 3D design, like that's kind of what this looks like. Like you could imagine these characters doing like the T-pose kind of thing, where they're just sitting there. No one has faces.
It's like those wooden, wooden
the little
dolls.
Models that you use for drawing.
Yes. Those. They look like that. But it's also funny because one of the characters that you start the game out with has a really big mustache. So he has no face, but a mustache. Uh-huh. And I'm like, all right, I'll let this roll. So the base gameplay it's the same formula as Dark Souls. You've got the whole stamina system, you've got to dodge and roll, you have a shield to block.
You even have gourd.
You have a magical gourd full of healing Gatorade, just like Dark Souls. But
yeah, it's
pretty cool that it's geared towards being multiplayer, which is what I really like. Like Dark Souls has it where like multiplayer, it's there, but it's almost more like in Dark Souls, it's there to annoy you because like it's like congratulations, you've been invaded by XX Souls Killer 99, and.
Please, it would be 69. We all know it.
Well, I didn't want to say it. All right.
I mean, but I mean, you and I have been running through this.
We have, and I think that it gives you an AI companion. But I got to say, after playing some with Jacob, the AI companion is so much better than having a person there with you. I mean, no, I'm just kidding, Jake. No, like what was it? I think it was was it yesterday or a couple days ago? I was like, Jacob, I need you to get on because the AI keeps dying and I need someone to help me beat this boss.
No, you're not even beat the boss. I need someone to help me get to the boss.
Yeah, you were telling me that you couldn't get to the boss because your AI kept walking off a cliff or something.
Yes, it was like the longest dungeon ever. Like,
no,
granted, after this. Oh, go ahead.
It's like the longest dungeon ever. And after playing it with you, I was like, yeah, this sucks. Because I think you said the AI is smarter than me. Well, yeah, I fell off the cliff too.
You did. No, it was so great. We had just finished a really hard fight because in true video game fashion, some of the really harder enemies are naturally bigger than you. They're really tall. Mm-hmm. Like, your little guy's like 4 feet tall, and these are like 8 foot tall dudes with a huge axe,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had just beaten a bunch of them, and we're like, yeah. And Jacob's like, all right, I'm going to go pick my lantern back up, because it's dark, So it's got like those like Doom-style mechanics where it's like, oh, you could have your gun out, or you could have a lamp, And so this game would do that in dark places, but you can set your lamp down to light the area while you fight.
That's cool.
But he was
I
walking
had set
back
it down where we couldn't see the stairs back up to where it was, and I missed the stairs.
He just missed. Like, we're going, I was like, man, that was a tough fight. Good thing we're about to get a Gatorade refill, and then he fell off the cliff. But
I was more upset because that means that I had to run all the way back, or I had to run back through the entirety of the dungeon back to where you were.
Well, no, we had to go all the way back to the entrance, right? Because it turns out like the system, the game system has a weird drop-in, drop-out multiplayer thing. Like in the same fashion that Dark Souls 3 has it, you can put a multiplayer code. Where like we set our code for like 111111,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll sync up.
Yeah, and you sync up, and so whoever else has that multiplayer code can drop into your game. But if you don't have that turned on, you could have an AI person backing you up, but it could just randomly become a human. And you don't know unless you pay attention to the behavior of your sprite.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was kind of neat. So it's like you beat an area and like, maybe it was the AI that helped you. Maybe it was a person.
Someone else.
You don't know.
But it's like, because they don't take on the form of another player. They take on the form of one of the AI companions.
Yeah. For me, it's always the mustache guy. I don't know why it's always the mustache guy for me, but it's always the mustache guy backing me up.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, because he's the best.
He really is.
Obviously.
Like it's just, if only I could be so grossly incandescent. But
he's basically the Solaire of this game.
He is.
No, but it's very Souls. It's definitely Soulsy to the point where I was like, how in the hell do I play this on mouse and keyboard? And I was like, oh, that's right.
that's
Dark Souls.
That's the trick, buddy. You don't.
You're not supposed to play it on mouse and keyboard. Whoops.
Yeah. You're all like, what button blocks? I'm like, left bumper. And you're like, but I'm on the keyboard. As far as storyline goes, it does have a bit more. It gives you a bit more than Dark Souls does. Like I said, I'm not going to say Dark Souls doesn't have the same depth, because Dark Souls has a lot of depth. You just have to go looking for it.
Yeah, Dark Souls it's not attached to every item. Yeah,
you have to read every item description. This one, you meet a bunch of NPCs, and it's got this whole you're building a town vibe. Because every time you meet a new NPC that's like, hello there, I'll give you X, Y, and Z. Like, one person makes spears you can throw, and one person upgrades your magic Gatorade, and one person makes potions and stuff. And every time you meet somebody in the wild, they build a house in your town.
Yeah, basically. Well, and the story that I got was that you are humanity, like, after their age of darkness, basically, and that the being that brought light to the world is reborn.
Or is coming back.
Is coming back, but there are entities in the world that have thrived in the darkness, so they want the darkness to remain, so you have to protect this fledgling
light creature.
Yeah. And it's...
Isn't the whole darkness light thing very similar to Dark Souls also?
It is.
It's literally the whole, hey man, can I copy your homework? Sure, just make it a little different.
Ashen.
But it's like, and I say that, it's like, I'm not, I'm not knocking this game. I actually really like this game.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that it controls its pacing, I think, better than Dark Souls does, because Dark Souls has the whole thing where, like, you could take a wrong turn, and suddenly you're in an area that you are not supposed to be in yet, and you're probably going to die. This doesn't let you do that very much. It encourages you to explore, because there are lots of little nooks and crannies that have items and better weapons and shields and stuff you can find.
Mm-hmm.
But you will hit walls where it's like, oh, did you beat boss number 3 yet? Sorry, you can't come through here,
That's right. You don't have the proper traversal item. You haven't met the right NPC yet.
Yeah, kind of Zelda style. Every time you beat a boss, you get an item that'll help you navigate the world.
So is it more like linear then, this game? Because like you said, Dark Souls, you can go wherever you want.
Yes, I would say this is more linear than Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't. Again, I say that with kind of a negative tone, but like it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think linear games can be just fine if they're done well, and I think this does a good job of making me not feel like I'm on rails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's well, it's because like the regions that you're put into are actually fairly large.
They're huge,
and there's freaking items that you can pick up around every nook and cranny that make you want to go like, oh well, maybe that's a consumable, or maybe it's a new weapon. I gotta go pick it up. I have to find a way to get over there.
No, it's so great. Like you pick up a thing that's like, congratulations, you got a mushroom, and I'm like, oh boy, I fought like 10 wolves and a 8-foot tall guy with an axe just to get this mushroom.
Congratulations, you found money. Well, okay, that's better.
But it is money. Can I buy a Snickers?
Right.
What was it? I think you and me got stuck in that one room. Like, remember, like
where I died, and I was talking you through. Like, all right, they're charging you. Get ready.
I was running back and forth in and out of the room because it was dark, so I had to put my lantern down. And he's down, and he's waiting for me to revive him. And it's just, there's 3 guys right in the corner. Look out!
But it's like, oh god, yeah, roll. but it's like I'm in a down state, so I can still see them. I'm still locked on to the baddies. So I'm just talking through, like, all right, they've reset back to their normal positions. Like, you can start, like, coming back down again.
Yeah. It took us a good 5-10 minutes to finish that room. And then we got the loot for it, and it was, like, a big bag of money.
And I was like, this wasn't worth it.
I was like, we almost failed this hard dungeon for a bag of money. But at the same time, the loot hound in me is like, I have to have it. This is acceptable.
Like, I don't even think we've explored that dungeon, like, to the extent that I'm happy with.
I don't want to go back, though. It was so awful.
I don't want to go back. It was horrible. I don't want to
go back. Like, honestly, I kind of got to the point, like, when we beat the boss of the dungeon, you meet an NPC down there, and she's all like, hey, man, what's up? Awesome. Thanks for saving me. How about I take you out of here? Shortcut. And you had a whole yes or no thing, and I'm like, I'm tempted to say no, because I bet you there's sweet loot hidden in this boss room.
Yeah.
But get me out of here. Get me out of here, please.
Get me home.
Take me home.
I don't want to deal with this.
Country roads.
It really is. Like, it really do be like that, though.
But it's if you enjoy any sort of Souls-like, if you like the whole health meter, stamina bar, magic Gatorade drinking, giant bad guy butt poking,
right?
Action. This game is for you.
It really, yeah.
It checks every box for me. I love it. And I think it even does multiplayer. It took us a bit to figure out how to do the multiplayer. Multiplayer is a little janky to get it going at first, because you do have to be in the same boss.
Progression.
Yeah, the same progression. Like, if I've beaten boss 1 and 2, and Jacob's only beaten boss 1, we can't play together. We have to both be in the same boss area, or same boss zone, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But you can each go and beat the boss on your own, and then just tag up afterwards,
which is what we did, because we spent probably 30 minutes the first time, and we couldn't make it work. And then,
like,
after you beat boss number 2,
this guy, and I was like,
it took us like 5 minutes to figure out, like, just enter the code and then hit up on the D-pad, and boom,
and then you're there.
Yeah,
it was good.
Is there something weird to I haven't watched you guys play this, but I've heard you across the desk. About you guys keep talking about being in some city and you can't be too close to a village or something, or else you guys won't join a game.
Okay, the hub area, which is not a hub area at all. It's what your home base. Home base is your.
Remember, I was like, you're kind of building a town, because every time you pick up an NPC, they move to your hub and build a house. Well, it starts out where it's just the bonfire at your base, and then every time you leave and come back, they are like building more buildings.
Yeah.
Like, by the end of the game, it's going to be a city.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's but if I'm standing in there, I can't see him.
And I can't see him. We can't join.
You can't be in the city limits.
You can't go into each other's cities.
No.
Basically.
No. Which, I mean, you don't really have to, like, because since we're progressed the same distance, like we're at the same area.
Yeah.
We can just say, okay, I'm fast traveling to this bonfire, this stone, whatever. They're the same basic principle. I'm fast traveling to this one. Meet me there.
Yeah. Okay, and then you guys will just see each other when
as long as we're not in the city limits of our main place. All you have to do is hit up on the D-pad and the other person appears.
Okay, that's cool.
So pretty easy to drop in, drop out. I like it.
And there are random NPCs around that like they're not going to go join your village, but they're gonna, and you can trade like your souls. They're called scoria in this one.
Uh-huh.
And
Money.
they'll have it's money. They'll have consumables on them. It's like you can buy little health biscuits or mushrooms or some crafting
takes
materials.
some notes from Dark Souls 2, where you start off with only like 1 or 2 swigs of your magic Gatorade.
Yeah.
But you can get other consumable healing items that are just one-shot uses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This has a lot of that, where like it's like, hey, you get a little chunk of fruit, eat some pineapple, you'll heal. Or drink your magic Gatorade. It's like, but I'm out of magic Gatorade. All I have is pineapple. Well, that's what you gotta do.
Eat the pineapple.
So
no, the funny thing I noticed is that as you progress through the game, the people start selling more and more stuff as you talk to them.
Okay.
And what I saw was one of the people had a small bag of money. Right, I could go to them and I could buy a small bag of money.
Okay.
Which if I used it would give me 250 scoria.
Yeah.
They were charging 300 for it. And I was like, y'all are stupid. I ain't ever gonna buy that shit.
Yeah. It's like a weird reverse thing, because in Dark Souls it was always, if you got the smaller ones that were only worth like 50 to 100 souls, you could always sell those for more than they were worth if you broke them. Mm-hmm. So they did like in reverse. It's kind of like we're gonna try to trick you, or those will be a crafting resource at one point.
But is it a thing where? So I'm assuming like in Dark Souls, when you die, you lose all your stuff and you have to go back and get it. So is that to save you from losing that money? Like if you have it in bags, because isn't that a thing in like Sekiro?
Well, because you can't put it in bags.
But
so you have to enemies will drop bags of money. But yeah, but she's right. So like, if you wind up having like, remember we lost like 50,000 scoria.
Oh my god!
Yeah, in the bottom of the thing.
Yeah, no, it sucked.
It was a very sad day. Bad. I would never throw this controller, but I was very angry. If it was a less expensive, less sentimental controller, I would have thrown it. I was very angry because we had like 50-something thousand because we got to the very bottom of that really hard dungeon.
Luckily, there's a spawn point there. There's a bonfire there.
But we still lost 50,000, because if you die, in Dark Souls fashion, if you die and then die again,
you lose it.
You lose everything that was there.
Yeah.
So
would it save you from that? Like if you bought the bags?
But that's a way to bank it, yeah.
Yeah. That way you wouldn't just drop it all like Sonic.
It's a finder's fee, man. We're going to charge you what's $50 on top of 250? What's that percentage fee? I don't know.
Right. Well, but here's the thing. It's like, but you can't, like, whatever's in your little bank at the time, you can't pull it out and put it in bags and put it in storage.
Well, but you technically can if you're buying bags from the people.
Yeah. It costs you a little bit more, but it's insurance. That's what that extra fee is. It's insurance. You won't lose this now.
I don't believe in insurance.
It just makes me think of the banker in Hollow Knight, where like you give them some money, and when you come back later, they're gone. And there's like a little quest that starts because they tried to steal your money, and you have to go find them.
That's funny.
That fiend.
But yeah, so I really like it. So that's Ashen by A44 and Annapurna Interactive.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hopefully I said right. I've seen something by these guys. I gotta go look them up and see what other games I have by them.
I've heard that name before. I don't know from where, but yeah.
Yeah, Annapurna Interactive. Well, wait, this is Steam. I can click on this. They've done What Remains of Edith Finch. Okay. Yeah. And The Outer Wilds.
Oh, okay.
And Journey, and okay, these guys have done a lot of games. Donut County. Donut County. Just such a masterpiece. All right. But enough about my thing. Jacob, what did you play this week?
Okay, so what I played is my typical fashion is a roguelite called Crying Suns by Alt-Shift, or developed by Alt-Shift and published by Humble Games.
Oh, hey.
I'm pretty sure I got this in a Humble Bundle.
I would assume.
Hey, I mean, Humble Bundle has almost never done us wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
I don't think they ever have, actually. I don't know why I said almost. I love Humble Bundle.
Indeed, but so this game really reminded me. It's like a mashup of FTL and Orion Trail, the one that Erica played the last one time, the way she described it really reminds me of this. It's so the premise is you are this Imperial admiral who was like the best in the entire fleet, and you are cloned because something bad has happened to the Empire.
Okay.
So like when you come out, there's this big tentacle robot who just spews exposition on you. It's wonderful. But according to him, all of the machines that are like him have turned off. Oh. And it sucks because these things basically ran human society.
Okay.
So without them, humanity is fragmented and just we're scattered across the galaxy with no way of actually getting to each other.
It's like, oh no, if I can't have my robot butler tie my shoes, how can I go to work?
No, that's basically it. And so you are awoken from your cloning pod, and you're given this awesome battleship and told, hey, we gotta go to the center of the Empire to find out what the hell happened.
Okay.
And so you do this by hopping through sectors like you do in FTL.
Yeah, and Orion Trail. Yeah.
And Orion Trail. You do it like by hopping through sectors, but every little sector it's a star, basically, right? Okay. So it'll have planets around it and things for you to go investigate.
Okay.
And to maybe, random events for you to, investigate and go play through. Mm-hmm. Also, like Orion Trail, I think, is that you have a crew that you pick before you start off.
Uh-huh.
And this crew has, I think it's a 3x3, so like 9 separate abilities.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's a lot.
And I've only ever had, the most I've had in an officer is 3, and he wasn't even like one of the basic ones that you start with. I had to find him.
Yeah.
Because there are some officers that you can find through your run that are in cryopods.
Okay.
And when you unlock them, you get like some of their DNA so that you can take them back and clone them. Like everybody else in your crew is a clone.
Wake up, loser! We're saving the Empire.
Well, if they don't even wake up, they're dead, I assume, in the cryopod, and you just take some of their DNA to clone the live version.
No, you wake they're awoken.
Okay.
And so like you get to use them for that run, but then you also unlock them for starting if you want to start. But those are interesting because those are special officers, and if they die in a run, if you fail a run,
mm-hmm.
you have to wait to use them because they have to grow.
Oh, you have to grow a new clone.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was a weird thing, which I'm guessing the deal is like the deal is that there's already so many clones of you and your crew and your other officers that it doesn't even matter.
Those
if
are on
you die
demand.
because,
there's just shelves and shelves of
yeah. Well, like even in the start, like you see it, it's just towers and towers of clones.
Okay.
But like these are special guys, like so we haven't had a lot of time to produce these bad boys.
They're not on the mass production line yet.
Right. And so where your officers come into play is that you can assign them to ship systems mm-hmm. for when you get into battles and whatnot. And the battles are played out on hex grids.
Okay.
So it's you're at the bottom left corner of the grid, and your enemy is at the top right corner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So a little tactical aspect to it.
It is called Crying Sun's Advanced Tactics. Like that's their little.
That's the full title.
I see it written on the picture.
That's their little their whole deal. But during these battles, you can put an officer in your hull plating. If they are trained in hull plating, they can repair your ship during the battle. So you can take damage, and they'll just be constantly.
I thought they were gonna like hold the walls up, make your ship tougher,
Yeah, bad. There's space or starships. So like your fighter craft, you can have a guy put there to grant you random buffs during the fight. Like the one that I had was like a flat damage buff to your fighter craft.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's fightercraft, which there are 3 main types. There's drones, fighters, and frigates.
Mm-hmm.
And you launch them all from your hangar bay. And there are upgrades you can buy through the upgrade system that allow you to launch more fighters as you go. So I think the starting battleship allows you to launch 2 ship types at a time.
Okay.
And you throw them out on the hex grid, and then you control them and you tell them where to go. You can have them intercept other fighters, or you can have them go and do flat damage to the battleship, to the other battleship.
Yeah.
And then the final weapon or system is your weapon systems. And you always start off with weapon. Usually it's one that actually can do damage to the other ship, because there are weapons that affect the battlefield and not the ships.
Like little traps type of thing?
Kind of. I think they're more like flak guns than traps.
Like you're just putting debris out in space kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's also ones that are support weapons. Like, I had one that granted my ships invulnerability if I shot them with it. Or there was, a healing deal where they would heal my ships if I shot them with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all on a cooldown, right? So you have to use it and then wait for it to recharge and use it again. But the recharge is faster if you have an officer.
So very FTL like also, because those were you could shoot them and they had to recharge, but they did recharge faster if someone was on the
guns or the shields or
Mm-hmm. Well, and then there are officers who are specialized in support, so they can be anything as long as there's another seat in the officer's deal. So they'll act as if they were supposed to be there, right?
Yeah.
It's fake it till you make it. But shit, so your entire premise, the game is split up into 5 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And after every chapter, you gain access to a new battleship. So
I'm guessing kind of like FTL, like do the different battleships all play a little differently?
They all play a little different. However, it seems like there's not like special objectives you have to do to unlock them. Because I know that there are some in FTL that you had to do some wild stuff to unlock some of these ships.
The crystal ship was a nightmare.
Yeah. I think the only nightmare is unlocking all the officers. Because I only have one. And there's a lot of special officers. But all of the ships are based on your progression. So you have to complete... So I completed Chapter 1, and I got a new ship.
Mm-hmm.
If you complete Chapter 2, I'm going to get a new ship after that. And so on for all 5 chapters.
Okay. And you just kind of keep playing it, I guess, each time you complete a chapter, or is it complete a run that you, like, basically unlock more story?
Yes, so... Yeah.
Okay.
Like once you complete a chapter, that's it. You can, I mean, I don't want to give everything away because I could don't story wise why
just tell me like
it
how
works with it.
Because like in FTL, what is it? You have like 7 jumps, 8 systems basically.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go through?
I don't.
I think it's about
in like Sector 8. That's where the boss battle is, where you fight the enemy mothership.
Yeah, I think it's about 6 jumps a sector, and you can backtrack if you wanted to.
Okay.
Except everything is dependent on your fuel, and fuel is scarce.
So what happens if you run out of fuel?
Do you start eating your crew?
Okay, I don't think it's Orion Trail level scarce, but. I don't know what happens when you don't, because I didn't run out of fuel ever, but I have been dangerously close. So in theory, you really shouldn't run out of fuel, because every sector you hop, every little star you hop to has a refueling station.
Okay.
But it's a gamble on how much you're going to get from this.
Yeah.
There are upgrades you can get that increase the amount that you get from the fueling stations.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most I've ever gotten was like 3 fuel.
So it's kind of like you'll always get 1 fuel, but you might get 3 kind of thing.
You will always get 1. At least 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except,
definitely not like Orion Trail.
Yeah.
Lion Trail, it's like you might lose fuel and a crewman, if you roll badly.
Right.
Yeah.
But, no, so to investigate every planet or every little deal in a system requires fuel. On top, if you are moving your ship, it requires fuel.
Yeah. And is it just like one fuel per jump, or does it depend on like how far away they are?
It looks like it would depend on how far. It's only ever costed one for me, because it would say, hey, this is like one for this jump.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so that means later on there may be 2 per jump or anything like that. But like if you're moving from planet to planet in a system, that's also fuel.
Yeah.
So you do have to. That's where they get you with the amount of fuel you have, because it's like I could be like, oh, I got 6 fuel. This will be fine. Hop into a system with 5 planets, and I'm just like,
You just gotta prioritize and be like, okay, we're only gonna visit 2 of you guys, and it's gonna be you 2.
It's gonna be the one with the anomaly and the one with the ground mission. And so anomalies are obviously they're a crapshoot. They
random
could be
events.
good or they're a random event. They could be good or bad. You could die possibly. I've died from anomalies a couple of times. But the ground missions are actually pretty nifty. So you have commandos, right? They're like a resource. You have commandos that you send on away missions with one of your officers.
Okay.
And this is where the skills of the officer come into play.
Yeah.
Right? Because as they're going through the mission, certain events will happen. And a skill will pop up, and if your officer has that skill, it'll check it off, and it'll be like, if it was a fight and they have the skill, they avoid the fight. If it was a resource cache and they have the skill, you get some resources from it. If it's a fight and they don't have the skill, your soldiers are going to take some damage.
Yeah.
Or die.
Throw a few red shirts at it, it'll be fine.
I was going to say, in that sense, it's very much like Orion Trail, because that was very similar to the ground missions in that one.
Oh, but it's got this really neat kind of pixel style art. It's like a 3D pixel.
Oh, I'm totally picking it up. Like this definitely gives off all the vibes for something I would play.
Yeah.
So, not to mention they got a free demo, so I can just try it out and be like, do I like this? And then give them my money.
If you're curious about it, if you don't know if you want to drop what, $25 on it, you can play the demo and see what you like. But also, part of the random events, the skills will come in for your officer skills will come in, because certain events will be like, oh, hey, send your pilot to go do this, and it's an automatic, success.
Yeah.
Whereas it would have been, oh, I can't do this because I don't meet the criteria for it, or it'll be a 50-50 if you send someone else to do it. Because you do have, like, your pilot commander and your ground commander. Like, these are all characters that you talk to, but you don't really ever meet.
Okay.
It's like you're aware of their existence and, like, the role they play.
Yeah.
But they're off on the ship doing their own thing. But I thought it was really neat. It's definitely it definitely feels like FTL. So I figured y'all would get enjoyment out of it, because it is a really neat little game.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I will be downloading the demo after this. So.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So that was Crying Sons by Altshift and published by Humble Games.
It's really cool.
It's really neat. Well, all right. Since that's our video games for this week, how about we hop into our board game or card game this week, I think?
Tabletop game.
Tabletop game. That one.
Yeah. So this week we played Arboretum. Designed by Dan Kassar. Hopefully I said that name correctly. I really liked your game. And it was published by Renegade Game Studios. Another Renegade game.
Renegade Games.
They publish good stuff, man. I can't say it. Their name is showing up a lot more and more on our board game shelf.
Well, I mean, it's also like, oh, we've played like 2 games that we really like from them. Let's see what other games they have. So it's not like coincidentally.
Right. It's not like you're looking up games.
But if you think
that
about
just so
it,
happened
before we started this podcast, I think we'd maybe heard their name once.
Yeah.
And now that name is popping up a lot more. So. And you're right. It's no coincidence. We love the games they publish. So, yeah.
But yeah. So, an Arboretum is a card game, right? That we're all arborists.
Yes.
I think that's
growing trees in our Arboretum.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Right. And it's kind of like it's a sequence game. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like a player versus player solitaire type of game.
It's like, well, you're trying to make the longest string of a certain tree.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like we're all pulling from the same pool of trees, right? Like there's like 6 or 7 suits basically that are different tree types, right? Yeah. And they all very beautifully illustrated trees on these cards, but everything goes from like 1 to 9, right? Does that sound right?
Yes.
Something to that effect.
Yes.
And since we're all drawing from the same pool, and I think you can only have like 5 trees in your hand at once, and you're just building an array in front of you. There's no like rhyme or reason to it. You're just putting cards down.
Yeah.
But you get points based on like if I start with a fir tree, like we'll say I start with like a number 2. But then I can put a 3, 4, 5, 6 of any other tree I want, as long as it ends with another fir tree.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to get from like 1 to 5, with fir trees, and the longer you make that sequence, you get points, and you get bonus points if there's more fir trees mixed in there.
Well, you also get bonus points if you have like 1 and 9, like if you have the beginning and the end.
Because those are extra hard. It's hard to get all 9 of the same tree because we're all pulling from the same resource pool. So Erica might notice that, like, Nick's got a lot of dogwood over there. It'd be a shame if someone kept the 9 of dogwood,
Which was done, I'm sure.
It was done. We need to play this with Philip because that's right up his alley.
So this game, I felt like it was an interesting mix of, I felt like it went really fast. Time-wise, no, but card-wise. We took a very long time trying to play this game because we couldn't wrap our heads around how to place the cards and make the series and sequences, and I kept forgetting to draw 2 cards and discard 1. I would only draw 1, and I was like, "Where's my card at?"
When we were buying wood today, you were making fun of me and Phil, and you were like, "You boys and your lack of spatial reasoning." Yeah. And I was like, I think that kind of goes into this. Like, I know it's not exactly spatial reasoning, but it plays into this because you have to visualize what you're building for your arboretum. Because like your array can go like to the right and then down and then to the right again, and it can go different directions. It's weird.
Yeah, you could have a lot of different sequences.
It has to be in a sequence.
Yeah.
From 2 to 9, whatever you want.
But most people's brains, you have to make it like my head wants to make it a left to right or right to left or up and down sequence.
Well, it's because you're an English speaker.
But that's not.
It's mostly.
It doesn't have to be. Like I said, you can have it go 2 to the right, then down 3, and then 2 to the left, and then down 1. You can have it do that, and it's
as long as they're connected.
As long as the numbers are in sequence, it's fine.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3. It could be 1, 3, 4, 5, 8.
They just have to 9. Go in a.
It just has to be up or like you can't do 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that won't work.
What is that? An ascending sequence? Descending sequence.
Or descending. Yeah, depending on how you're playing.
You just can't duplicate any numbers. So.
Yeah.
That's it. But
this was one I really, really liked. As much as it made steam pop out my ears because my processor couldn't quite handle it, I really liked it. Like, it's a beautifully illustrated game, and at its core, it's a very simple concept.
Yeah, it is. And I also liked at the end, so as you're playing... I mentioned drawing 2 cards and not doing that. But during the game, so during your turn, you draw 2 cards, you play 1 card from your hand, and then you have to discard 1 card. And each player has their own discard pile, so you can see what each person is discarding. So you can see, they don't care about that card or whatever. But you can also, when you're drawing cards, you can draw from other players' discard piles. You don't have to draw from the face-down deck. So if Nick discarded a cherry tree and I needed it, I could just take that on my next turn. And that was a thing, too, where there was one point where all the cards in my hand I really wanted and needed, and I still needed to discard one. So I put one down that I was like, no one's going to take this, right? And then Jake took it. And I was like, no, I needed that. But I thought that was an interesting way to play it, too, where you could steal other people's cards. They might have discarded them just to...
Steal.
Well, like I said, I needed that card. I just put it down because I didn't have too many in my hand. But also, the end of the game is when the main deck is gone. And so at the very end, we were all sitting there like, oh my god, there's only like 2 cards left. Like, don't end the game, don't end the game. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to end the game because I'm going to win. And so I pulled the last card and I won because I think that's also interesting where it's up to one of the players to decide the game is over. I'm taking the last card. Yeah. I'm going, everyone's
we don't see too many games do that. Like Gods Love Dinosaurs had that, where like one person couldn't choose. It's like, well, if I draw this is going to force us to resupply, and if there's nothing to supply, then that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Or I could go to these other 4 stockpiles and keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or screw y'all, I have more points.
And then the only other one is Azul, where if you made is it horizontal line? If you finished a complete line horizontally, I think.
Yeah.
Then you could say, that's the end. And I think that's kind of interesting as far as, especially when you're trying to play a game like mentally against other people, like, I'm going to take this card, they're probably going to take that one, that, like when you're trying to plan out that way. And you can see everyone's sequences laid out, and you can see, oh, Jake's going for the poplar trees. He's got like 5 of them in a sequence. Like, I'm going to keep all the poplars I can. It's really interesting as far as that goes and how that plays through.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. This is definitely something that it's also because it's a card game, so it's very compact and easy to take with us. So I feel like whenever we go places, like for family vacation, or hey, we're visiting my parents this weekend and Jacob and Philip happen to be there, we have to bring this with us because it's fast to set up, fast to pack up.
It did take a bit of table space though, because when you're trying to lay out.
Well, yeah.
When you're trying to get your sequence going,
yeah,
each person
to...
is going to wind up being table sprawls.
Yeah,
right.
but it is a very compact game, like you said. It's a small box. It's bigger than a deck of cards, but it's still a small box.
It's still something you could fit in your... to think that it has a really big footprint, but very little like box. Because you think about like Caverna and Agricola, like those have a huge footprint. But there's also a lot in the box.
I think you could also just like overlay the cards like you would in Solitaire, how they're like stacked on top of each other, but you can still see the sequence.
That would be easier. We don't play that way.
We had them like completely showing, so that took up a lot more space.
All we think of is space and usage. That's all we think about. Yeah. But no, Arboretum was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was definitely a fantastic addition. I think this really was one that like... Did you order this one online, or did you buy it at the store? I don't remember. Because I think we've seen this one, like, at Target on the shelf. Like, remember, it's always so exciting now when I go to, like, Target and their board game section has, like, new board games, and it's not just Monopoly and Risk,
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with Monopoly and Risk. I love Monopoly and Risk. But to see, like, new, exciting board games up there,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's when we got Fox in the Forest, and we were at Target, and it was like, we've been looking at this one. I'm taking it.
Yeah, I ordered this one from Amazon.
But
I remember we were walking through Target, me and my girlfriend, and I was like, we saw the Essentials kit for D&D, and I was like, hey. She didn't take to it, but
Erica doesn't either, so it's fine.
It's whatever. If you're not into it, you're not into it. But yeah, Target is upping their board game.
Yeah.
Their board game.
Even we live in Texas, but I was at HEB the other day, and they actually have life Monopoly type games in their board game section. I was very surprised, but they do.
Whoa.
Wait, HEB,
HEB
does
has a
board
board
games?
game section?
Yeah, they've got like toys, like
next to
HEB
the
has a toy
Legos.
section?
well, I always think of it as next to the little HEB shopping carts and the little baskets with food that they have. Yeah. They had games there, and there were some that weren't just like the mainstream games.
I can't believe I haven't noticed that, but I'm such a dork. Like
It's
like we go
HEB.
grocery shopping, and I have to like stop and be like, look, they've got the Lego Y-wing. I'm gonna buy you one day. And then I go buy steaks or something instead.
Wait, y'all actually go like shopping for other things besides Oreos at HEB? Like,
I'll have you know, I also buy Cheez-Its.
well, okay, it's like I didn't, honestly, this is news to me. I didn't know there were other things besides groceries at HEB.
It's in the front row of aisles, like, when there's like office supplies and the other boring
there's like
stuff
all the
nobody
birthday
cares about at the
cards and
grocery
stuff.
store.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where it all is? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't go to HEB for
I
those
mean,
it's
things.
not a
section.
lot, but they do have like one or two like other games there.
Well, that's okay. Well, all right. So that was our video games and our board games for this week. And now it is time for Kickstarter Corner. So, Kickstarter's a big deal. We like to back things, projects that we think are very interesting and just need a little help to get traction, get off the ground. And so, yeah, I didn't back anything because I'm a poor college kid, but Erica and Nick have been backing things. So let's start with Erica. What is your Kickstarter that you backed this week?
Yes. So my Kickstarter that I backed is Doomlings, the card game. Again, I just was scrolling through and I saw this and it was adorable. So this is by Justice Meyer. And this one will be ending on April 2nd. So you'll still have maybe a week or a little bit less by the time this podcast goes out. But so this game, they have a cute little like video trailer, is basically these scientists are going around and they found a planet where the species on the planet, or everything that lives on it, is very young. And the reason that they found out is that every so many years or weeks or days or whatever it is, the planet goes through like a doomsday and everything dies. And then they come back. And so they called these little guys the Doomlings because they're always going to die.
They're all doomed.
Yeah, they're all doomed. They're all going to die very soon. And then they're just going to come back and start over. So that's the little premise. And you're playing as these little Doomlings. And you're basically getting points for the types of Doomlings you have and the traits that they have, and there's different ones and they do different things, like you can have flight or poison, and all of them have little scores at the bottom, and you're playing through the different ages before the planet is destroyed again,
is annihilated.
Yeah. And so you're just trying to go through and build the best little civilization of doomed little creatures possible before they all die again.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, and they're adorable. So they all look like little like rubber bouncy balls type of thing. And then they have like cute ones that look like little dinosaurs or whales, and it's really cute. The art style is what brought me into this, and just watching the little trailer, it's adorable.
Looking at this, I'm getting some very big it's like Slime Rancher vibes smashed into Exploding Kittens vibes.
Oh no!
You know what I'm talking about?
Two things.
It's like I said, it makes me think of those two, because like Slime Rancher had the whole like adorable little like it's a ball,
Yeah.
But they all had like goofy little attributes, like this one's on fire and this one has cat ears and stuff like that. But then it also has the weird, quirky. You know how Exploding Kittens had the whole like Taco Cat backwards, it's Taco Cat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got that. Like I'm looking at there's this one here on the Kickstarter page where it's like they both have like really muscular arms, like they're jacked, and it's like, points. And I'm just like, yep, that's a thing.
Yeah, I think it's cute. And as far as the Kickstarter campaign has gone, they're fully funded. So April 2nd will be the end, and that will be successful. But it's it's super cute. They've unlocked stretch goals. One thing that they announced recently is that they're gonna have like foil editions of certain cards as like collector's items, and so it's only gonna be one per box, which I'm like, oh no, I need them all, but I guess I'll just take my one.
And this one looks really great. Like I like that. Just it's cheap to just get on the ground floor. Like, do you want to just get the base game? It's like $25.
Yeah,
that's really easy. Then it's like, if do you want to get the super ultra mega platinum gold deluxe edition that Erica, of course, got?
Yes, I did.
That's only like $70. Like,
it is $70.
But even then, that's not that bad. Like most of the times, like to get like a cool ultra mega deluxe one, like I can think of a few that I've backed. It's like flipping $200, and I'm like, but I want the mega edition, and you got the mega edition, and it didn't cost you a mint.
But yeah, so at least for the $70 one, you get all of the base game, all of the like expansions. So there's additional different types of cards that you're gonna get with it. Also hidden objectives. They're called the meaning of life, and so each player will have a little secret objective to figure out what the meaning of life is. And then it also comes with like a play mat and different things. And so I'm really excited for this.
This is going to be great. Like I can't wait to play this for the podcast. You know, like we're going to have such a great time.
Right.
Yep.
Oh. Score the most points before the world's inevitable destruction.
What
a tagline.
I like it in the top part. There's like a little drawing of 4 people playing the game, and someone's like, so we're scoring points until the world ends, and someone says, try not to think about it, Heather. It's gonna happen. Don't think about it.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Very Rick Sanchez.
So morbid. Well, all right, so that was Doomlings.
Yes, that is Doomlings, the card game, and this is by Justice Meyer, and you have until April 2nd to back this.
To back that. Get your Doom on, y'all.
Get your Doom on. Yes.
All right. Nick, what did you back?
So, for a change of pace, I actually didn't back a board game this week. For this one, it's funny that you mentioned D&D before, because, you know, we play D&D, Jacob. And as such, I own several funny-shaped dice that are an array of colors and all that. And so I backed Pixels, the electronic dice. This is a project by Jean Simonet. I hope I said their name correctly. If not, I'm sorry. I love your Kickstarter. And apparently, so do 20,000 other people. The Pixels, the electronic dice. These are electronic RGB dice, right? So these all have an array of colors built, like little LED lights built into the dice. So whenever you roll the dice, it lights up. So that's the basest thing for it, but it gets so much more complicated and awesome. So one, it comes in a variety of different colors. Like you can get them to be crystal clear if you want. You can get them to be like the colors I see here are onyx black and hematite gray and midnight galaxy, and all they have to do is add Van Dyke brown and we're set. You know, but so it's got a whole bunch of different colors you can get. On top of being electronic, right? These guys are also Bluetooth enabled, so you sync these bad boys to your phone, and that's how you program the RGB. So, like a YouTuber I really like demoed these, and he showed that like he synced it up to his phone, so whenever he rolls a 20, it like flashes rainbow colors and it plays like Zelda noises. It's like da 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 da. But if he rolls a 1, it like flashes just red. It's just red, and it's like, oh no, what have you done? You know, and so you can program the numbers and all that. Like, how do you want this guy to play? You know,
should have a 1 where you roll it and it's just wah wah wah.
Exactly. So it's like I said, wireless, Bluetooth, and action. You can fully program them. They have they come when you get them. They come with a wireless charging little pod, right? Mm-hmm. Which on face value, I'm like, okay, cool, it can be charged. But like, it comes with a little video for how to charge these dice, and so on top of charging the dice when you plug them into the little battery pack case guy, it also turns it off because if you just have the dice in your pocket, it's basically rolling as you're walking around with it, so the lights keep turning on, you know. But if you put it in the pod, it like turns it off.
Okay.
So that it won't like keep draining the battery while you're in transport.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So on higher levels of the Kickstarter, which of course, you know, I may have gone for the Ultra Deluxe Edition.
Yes, you did.
And higher levels of it, you know, because normally, like, the base level, you pick one dice. Whatever shaped dice you want. Do you want a D20? Do you want a D6? Do you want a D4? Do you want a D12? Because no one ever uses D12s.
Barbarians use D12. Anyway,
one class.
Go on.
Sorry. You know, the first couple levels are literally just, do you want one dice, two dice, three dice, four?
Yeah.
You know? One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Right. To get a set is one of the higher up tier lists.
Yeah. Yeah, the highest tier before it starts just duplicating, because, you know, like, I ordered a set. After that, then it's like, pay more for 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets $1, you know?
You didn't get me a set? I'm kidding.
You, ma'am, don't like D&D. So,
but that doesn't mean I don't like dice.
Nope. Then you can buy some.
When I get these, if you roll them and you're like, I love these, I must have a pair, then I'll pay full retail price to order you a pair. Okay?
Aww.
Or a set.
So sweet.
Because I love you.
One D20. That's all you get.
But
that's all you get.
In true Billy Mays fashion, but wait, there's more.
Nice.
On top of the whole Bluetooth syncing, wireless charging, RGB rolling, it also syncs up to gaming services. So, do you play your game on like Roll20? You can sync these dice up to Roll20. So when you roll the dice, the number that you roll will be filtered out into Roll20 for your game that's going.
That's very useful, especially since I know a lot of players who are like, rolling electronic dice really just doesn't do it for me. So it's like, because one of the guys that we're going to be playing with this weekend, my friend Max, he's like, I have to roll dice.
He's a tactile guy.
He's a tactile, and he's even cleared it with me. He's like, I'm going to be rolling my own, and I want you to trust me when I give you the numbers. And I was like, you know, that sounds really sketch.
You should have him point his webcam down
sixes.
into where he's rolling his dice.
If it's something important, I'll have him prove it. But
yeah, so it can sync up to the online services right now. I don't know if this has changed. At the time this Kickstarter launched, they had officially confirmed synchronization with Roll20 and Foundry Virtual Tabletop.
Ooh, Foundry's really nice.
And they are in talks with D&D Beyond and Fantasy Grounds. So
very nice.
So this guy's checking the boxes on. He's getting in with the big hitters as far as the virtual D&D community is concerned.
Oh, and I think D&D Beyond would be all over that.
Yeah,
I think they would love it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure their whole thing is like, you know, giving somebody outside access to their code and stuff. I don't know. No idea what goes into that. I am not a business savvy person. But then he's also got he also has made it. He has open source coding for it. So if you want to set up your own program stuff and synchronizations for it, you can do that.
I was gonna say you can. This is really lame, but you can get some of the sets that are just the D6s and set up an online game of Yahtzee with your family if everyone has a set.
There you go. We'll order you a set, and it'll all be D6s.
See, we're all thinking D&D. We're not thinking big enough, Nick.
Erica's in 2022 already, man. She's in the future
playing Yahtzee on Roll20.
But yeah, so I am super excited for these guys. I think they're estimated like early 2022 is the projected delivery date. Mm-hmm. Which I think that's fine, you know, like that's probably a little less than a year out.
Yeah.
Actually, that is a year out.
It is a year
out. Yeah.
But I'm fine with that, you know, like even if they want to having to push it back a little bit, I know people get pretty mad when they have to wait for Kickstarters, but like,
I mean,
if I have to wait for quality, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, the only thing, because I'm dealing with this with one of my Kickstarters, the only thing, I'm fine with waiting for a Kickstarter. If you want to, you know, take your time to deliver a quality product, that's great. Just keep everyone informed. Just say, you know, hey, we're running into this issue. We're now going to be looking at May instead of March. Or, you know, just keep people informed. I feel like good Kickstarters are ones where, you know, they keep everyone updated. Like, hey, just a check-in. We're still waiting. They haven't gotten back to us. Seems like it might be delayed. That's all I want.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
Especially when it's dealing with other people's money. You know, people who have bought into a project that, you know, they expect to have a return on that investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think any truly successful Kickstarter, communication is key. You know?
Communication is key.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I backed. This Kickstarter ends on April 8th, so when this podcast drops, you'll still have a little more than a week to go and back it. So,
very nice.
Yeah, it's a little pricey. Even if you just want like a D20 that does it, it's pretty cheap to just get just the one, you know? If you want to get just one dice, I think that's like $40. So for dice, yeah, it's not that cheap. For a sweet, awesome RGB Bluetooth-enabled, you know, dice.
All the bells and whistles you could imagine.
Yeah. I mean, if the thing could make me an espresso while it was at it, it had everything. So
right.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about these. That's what I backed this week. Not a game, but absolutely gaming related.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm going to rub these in Phil's face as much as I can.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. When COVID's over, you're going to go play all the D&D. It's gonna be great.
With all these flashing dice.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, what is it, like seizure warning? That's a really big seizure warning. Like, beware, these flash.
You must. You walk around with a health warning. But
before you start your D&D game. All right, sorry.
So that's Kickstarter Corner. And I guess with that, that's gonna be the end of our show today.
Yeah.
So thank you all for watching and for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.